Have you been following the situation in Iran? Have you been following the situation in Iran? Well, guys, today I'm going to teach you how to start talking about current events. Okay, what is a current event? A current event is something that's happening right now around the world. Maybe something is happening in your country, or maybe something is happening on the moon, right? These are current events. That means something happening right now, a story, right? Maybe it started a few weeks ago, or maybe a few years ago. Maybe it's a long story. Maybe it's just a short event. Maybe it started yesterday and it's going to finish tomorrow. Some events are short, some events are long, but if they're happening right now, it's called a current event. Okay, and a lot of people love to talk about current events. How about you? What do you love to talk about? Let me know down in the comments what you talk about. Do you talk about sports? Do you love talking about fashion or politics? Let me know. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to teach you a question that you can ask someone to start talking about current events. Okay, so if you love learning about conversation tips and examples like this, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Okay, so have you been following? Okay, like I said, we use this sentence construction when we're talking about a specific situation. Okay, a situation that's happening right now, somewhere in the world. Okay, so let's look at some examples. But first, I want to mention the difference here. Okay, if we say, "Do you follow?" That's a different question. Okay, do you follow sports? Do you follow politics? Do you follow current events? Right? This question happens at the beginning of the relationship when you want to find out what someone's interests are. Like, let's say I meet you and I don't know you very well, right? I might ask you, hey, do you follow sports? Right? Or do you follow politics? I'm trying to find out what your interests are. What do you like? Right? Do you follow sports at all? Okay, now look at these two words here, at all. Very often we add these words just, I don't know, maybe to be polite. It just sounds nice to add these words. Okay, so if I meet you, I might say, hey, do you follow sports at all? Right? It means the same thing as if we just were to ask, do you follow sports? Do you follow sports? Do you follow sports at all? Right? It just, these two words are a little bit useless, but very often we add them. It just kind of makes it seem, I don't know, maybe a little bit more polite or a little bit more friendly. Okay. Guys, I'm losing my voice here. Better take a swig of water before I get too far into this lesson. Okay. I should be good to go now. If you say good to go, that means you're ready. Okay. So are you interested in politics at all? Are you interested in politics at all? Okay, so you can ask these questions at the beginning of the relationship. Now, if you already are in a conversation with someone, then you can ask this question. Have you been following the situation in Iran? Okay, have you been following? That means, have you been reading the news or have you been listening to the news about, have you been following? Following just means, have you been putting your attention, have you been paying attention to this situation that's happening in Iran? Actually, a lot of my subscribers are from Iran, and I love Persian people. And actually, one of my subscribers was going to fly back to Iran soon. Well, I think she maybe was supposed to have already left and be in Iran, but because of the situation there, she canceled her flight and she had to pay a hefty cancellation fee. Do you know what the word hefty means? Hefty means a lot of money, a pretty big. And if something is hefty, It means it's a lot. It's quite a bit. She had to pay a hefty cancellation fee. Have you ever had to pay a hefty cancellation fee if you changed your ticket or if you canceled your flight? So I hope everything will be okay in Iran. My heart goes out to all my Persian subscribers. I love you guys so much. Okay, have you been following the news? Or you could say, have you been following the story? Have you been following the events in Iran? Okay, so you can choose one of these words. They all work great in this situation. Have you been following the news in Iran? Have you been following the story or the events? Right? Now, we can also add the word unfolding here. Okay, look at this word here. Have you been following the events unfolding in Iran? Now, unfolding means they're happening, right? It's a live situation. The events are unfolding, right? Or have you been following the story unfolding in Iran, right? There's always something new all the time. You might check on it, and then, a few hours later, you check again, and there's some new news, right? So the story is unfolding. That's what it means. So you can add this word, or you don't need to add it. It's up to you. Okay, have you been following the news about the Nord Stream pipeline? Have you been following the news about the Nord Stream pipeline? Okay, you could make a question like this. If someone's interested in politics, like first, I might ask you, do you follow politics at all? And if you say, yeah, I like dabbling in politics a little bit. Dabbling means you maybe you don't follow it very passionately. You're not a very, let's see, if someone's dabbling in, let's say someone dabbles in the stock market, okay, then what would that mean? Do you know what that would mean? If I tell you, yeah, I like to dabble in the stock market, dabble, that just means I just do a little bit here and there. I'm not like a hardcore investor. Right? Hardcore means serious. Right? Imagine if I were to have $1 million in the stock market and I'm like looking all the time. I have my charts and computer set up, and I'm interested in the stock market, right? Then I'm a hardcore investor. But if I just kind of dabble a bit here and there, it means I'm not too serious about it, but I do a little bit, right? I dabble, right? So if I ask you, do you follow politics? You could say, yeah, I don't know, I'm not a hardcore follower, or I'm not really into politics, but I dabble a bit here and there. That means you might just follow a few news stories. Maybe every now and then you take time to read a little bit of the news, right? But you're not fixated on it. Fixated means you're focused on it, right? So have you been following the World Cup? Now, guys, this question, we can't ask this question yet because I'm making this video at the end of September 2022. And in a few short weeks, the World Cup will start. So I can't ask this yet because it hasn't started yet, right? We can only say this if something has been started, right? If the story is unfolding. But this story is not unfolding yet because it hasn't started yet. In a few weeks, we will be able to ask this question. Okay, so let's say the World Cup starts and it's maybe a few days into the World Cup or a few weeks. You could ask someone, hey, have you been following the World Cup? And they might say, not really, but I just hear bits and pieces. Bits and pieces, right? That means they hear people talking about it. Bits and pieces, right? So you could say, oh, well, Brazil is playing today. Oh, Brazil. I love Brazil. I love watching Brazil. You could say, well, would you like to come over to my house to watch Brazil play Canada today? Brazil against Canada. What match is it? It's the World Cup final. It's the final match. I'd love to come over. I'm going to come over and watch Brazil play Canada. What can I bring? Can I bring some snacks? Can I bring some food or some cake or something like that? Oh, don't worry. Just bring yourself. Just bring yourself. Okay, very often, if people invite someone, that person might say, "Can I bring anything?" Right? It's a polite thing to ask. In our culture, if someone invites you, you can ask, "Oh, can I bring something? Some snacks or some, pizza or something like that?" And the person would say, "No, don't worry about it. Just bring yourself." Okay? Means you don't have to bring anything. So then you go to your friend's house. Wow, I'm so excited to watch Brazil and Canada in the final World Cup finals. Who's going to win? Wouldn't that be awesome if the finals was Canada against Brazil? That would be crazy. The score would be like 10-0 for Canada. Don't kill me, my Brazilian fans. Wouldn't that be funny if Canada beat Brazil 10-0? That would be funny. Do you think it's possible? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if you think it's possible for Canada to win 10-0. I don't think my Brazilian subscribers would be very happy about that. But we don't know. We have to wait and see. All right, sometimes underdogs win, right? An underdog is the team that is expected to lose, right? So if Brazil played Canada, who would be the underdog? The underdog would be Canada, right? Because Canada never really makes the World Cup. This is only the second appearance at the World Cup, whereas Brazil makes the World Cup every time, and they always do well, right? They have the most World Cups ever. So Brazil would be heavily favored over Canada. Canada would be the serious underdog. But sometimes underdogs win. So guys, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for Canada. Hopefully Canada can win the World Cup. What do you think are the chances of that? So you could ask this question. Have you been following the World Cup? First, you could ask, do you follow sports at all? Do you follow sports at all? Oh, really? You follow sports? Have you been following the World Cup? That person might say, yeah, I have. It's awesome. Did you watch the match with Croatia against Scotland? That was a sweet match. Something like that, right? And then you can start talking about the current event, right? People are often excited about current events. This is why I'm teaching you this question in this video today, because it's a great question to kind of to build the conversation, right? Maybe there's a topic you want to talk about, something that's happening in the world now, and you want to talk about that. Then how do you start? This is how you start, right? Have you been following? All right, it's a great question, guys. Have you been following the elections in Italy? Okay, so you can use this question for anything that's happening in the world. It could be politics, it could be sports, it could be a war, it could be, some natural disaster. Let's say there's a typhoon or a flood or something like that, right? So you can use this question really however you want. So guys, what are you following these days? I'd be interested to know. Let me know down in the comments what you are following, which news stories or which current events you are following these days. And as always, guys, I love you so much. Stay safe wherever in the world you are, whatever the current events that are unfolding in your neck of the woods. Neck of the woods means your place, your area. Right? So stay safe in your neck of the woods, guys. I'm thinking about you if you live in a conflict zone. A conflict zone is a place that's experiencing some turmoil. Turmoil means unpleasant, maybe war, maybe conflict, right? So guys, all the best. Thank you so much for all your support. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great day. So as always, I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.